Hey guys, Ben from Blue Ladder here, and today I want to show you all about using squeegees. So there's a few things, but the most important thing to remember with cleaning windows is it's all about efficiency. You need to make sure it looks clean, and you need to make it clean as fast as you can without leaving any marks or any drips or drops or streaks. So let's kind of walk through how you do it. Number one is straight pulls. In order to make this most efficient, if you're first starting out cleaning windows, maybe you're a DIYer cleaning up in your own home, you just want to pick one squeegee that ideally would overlap so that you can do two straight pulls. Now, some of the guys who are pros have a channel cut for every single width under 18 inches. And that makes it so you could do one pull. This is over 18 inches, so it's not possible. But going straight down, I have a 14-inch here and I have an 18-inch here. Now, you could probably get by 12 inches would probably be a little bit too short. So I like taking an 14-inch on something this size, start at the top, kind of cut in. And if you kind of wiggle it up and down, that gets all the fluid down so that you're not going to leave as big of a streak at the top. You're still going to have to detail that with these, but you pull straight down, kind of tap off the liquid, come up here again, a little wiggle, straight down again. And then you can go on and detail the edge of the glass. So that's a straight pull. Now, if you come over here to a bigger piece of glass, get that nice and wet. So straight pulling this one, I'll have to do 1, 2, 3 straight pulls with this. So in this case, you still get just as fast, you still clean the window just as fast using a 14-inch on here. So I don't necessarily need the big one, but I like having the big ones. On the bottom, on the other hand, I can do 2 straight pulls with the big one. You just can't see that from here. So, but same type of thing. But in this case, because it's shorter than it is wide, I'm going to go across. And look at that. I can do 2 hands. And then you got to go back and detail it. So that's straight pulls. Early on, when you're first getting started, if you're doing straight pulls, if you don't skip ahead to fanning, you got to make sure you watch out because these can leave little fans, little streak marks here. You see if I can show you. You get those little bubbles there, and there can be a little line that forms. See that? So you want to watch out for that happening. The way you avoid that is by simply wiping off the blade. So when I'm training my new guys, typically I'll train them that every time they put the squeegee up against the glass right before, they need to wipe the edge off so that we don't get any soapy water that's going to get back on the glass and give you extra detailing. Now, one of the reasons most pros don't straight pull is it can lose efficiency. You have to keep wiping the blade off. It gets to be a little bit monotonous and not fun. So you up the ante and you do fanning. With fanning, it doesn't matter where you cut in. You can cut in here, you can cut in here, you can cut in here. The ultimate thing is that you have to overlap wherever you cut in. So I personally like to cut in on the side. I'll drop my squeegee blade anywhere on here, get the corner to it, and then when you're pulling, you want to lead with the top edge. And then once you get up to this other corner, the opposite corner, ideally you want to be a little more flat before you get there. 20% angle or so, 20 to 30 degrees. So you start here, come across, and then you're bringing this edge up while at the top edge. Let's try that again. Cut in, and now we're flat, almost flat, just under flat. Ideally, you want to be in a position where you'll be able to straight pull from, and then you're able to come down the bottom and then cut back across. Now, this is more like an S technique, where you're just zigzagging across the glass. It's not always the best. Every time that you pivot the squeegee doing that, you have a chance of leaving another little crease line from where the squeegee could skip. It's helpful to have that down, but it is a little more risky. So what most pros do, it's called cut in the mountain first. So go straight to the corner. So get up here, get that top edge, corner to corner, and then come top edge down. And then once you have that mountain, you just work your way down. And if you ever do leave a little streak, just cut back and get it. See, I left one right there. It's these windows blinking on the glass. But if you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you're liable to make mistakes. So early on, not so easy to multitask. Then I close out here. Now, here's the thing with closing out. If you want to close out in a way that's most efficient, so if I'm doing a set of windows, I might start over here. My ideal closeout location will be somewhere down here. Then I go down to the next pane and I close out on the side. That way I have less movement. If I'm doing this pane and I close out over here, then I have to bring the squeegee all the way back over here. So fractions of a second of a difference. But over the course of a day, if you're cleaning 100, 150, 200 panes of glass, those little fractions of seconds add up and you're spending time doing more cleaning. And that makes it so that you can fit less work into the day. The more pieces of glass you clean, the more you get paid. So the more efficient you become, faster you go, the more dollars per hour you can earn. You can either go home early and be happy with you got paid, or you work really hard, go a little bit longer and bring home more. Now, I do really like this particular squeegee. This has the S Plus channel. It's made by Unger. They only carry it in 18 inches window cleaning resource. I think that's all they make. This one favorite squeegee handle here, the Accelerator 2.0, but this is my go-to. This is the Moorman Accelerator 3.0. It's got the 3.0 Liquidator channel where it has the new kind of special bend to the little tips here. The beveled edge makes it so that it's moisture wicking. It pulls the water away. I like this because now I don't have to detail the edges of the glass, at least not as often. Okay, so these are harder to use. They're not easy to straight pull with. If you try to cut in, you almost always leave a little bit of something on the side. And so a lot of guys, when they start using them, really complain because it just feels different. It's a lot lighter. It feels cheaper if you're first getting started, but honestly, these things have outlived all my brass channels by years. This thing is over 10 years old now. Very durable, very light, made out of aluminum. So the paint will eventually fade like this one is, but it still works really great. If you got a fresh piece of rubber on there, you need something that's a little bit harder rubber. What it comes with is usually good, but the softer rubbers, the corners get caught really easy with the soft rubbers. Or if you have really like kind of dirtier glass, or if it's just kind of sticky, sometimes if you've been cleaning windows for any matter of time, you know that sometimes the glass just feels a little bit more sticky. It happens if it's hot as well. So a harder rubber helps. I'm using a medium black diamond rubber and not my favorite, but it works. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to fan with the nice ones, but same principles here would apply no matter what squeegee or what channel you're using. Cut in, come across, flatten out by the top. You're framing in the corners. Now we overlap over here because sometimes you'll get those little lines coming across. They wick off the corner. So when you come back down, that keeps the edges so that you don't have to detail them, especially with these corners. Or if you do detail, it'll be very minimal. Now that I have my mountain, you see that little mountain there? Now I can go back and forth. One of the things that I hate, people using these channels, they'll come in and they'll just be going back and forth really small. They might go really fast, but they're not cutting much distance. And so you want it to be efficient as much of the length of this as you can. So you want to get as vertical as you can with the squeegee channel. So for example, cut it in, almost straight across. So you want to do a few swipes across. So if I can cut this 1, 2, 3, 4 or less, then that's a win. Otherwise, you know, twice as many motions, you get twice as tired, takes twice as long. See, like if I'm just barely getting to the top, spend a long time cleaning that same sheet of glass versus now if I do full swipes, makes it a lot easier. Part of my messes. I'm not paying close enough attention. But now we have different sizes, right? Different sizes of everything. As Braveheart once said, some men are longer than others. If you use a small one, it's a little easier to control. You're going to make less mistakes, hopefully. Larger one, you cover more space faster, but it's a little bit more delicate on the turns. Takes a little more nuance and a little more training, a little more practice to master it. So if you find a veteran, they're going to be able to cut that glass twice as fast as somebody using half the size squeegee. With that said, the bigger squeegee helps you go faster. You just got to perfect your technique. So if you're learning, start smaller and work your way up. I like 14 inches even for new guys, but 10 to 12 inches sometimes to cut your teeth on using a fanning motion. You can't go wrong going a little bit smaller. Don't go to 8 or 6. I'd say 12 to start. 14 as soon as you're comfortable with the 10, go up to the 12 and then the 14. You can stay at home with the 14 for a long time, especially for residential. If you're doing any larger sheets of glass or commercial stuff, then you're definitely going to be able to fan with the 18. For pull work, I still mostly just use this little 14-inch 3.0 accelerator for all my fanning with the pull. Now, using the Liquidator channel, 18 inches on this sheet of glass, I can cut in, come across. So it's a lot faster. I don't have to detail the edges. I just have to make sure I wipe the slop off the bottom. This is my favorite by far. Very fast and efficient. This combo is on my belt all the time. I never leave the house without it. Anytime I'm cleaning glass, I have both of these with me. If I don't have anything else, I need this. I can scrub with anything. I want to have a good squeegee. This minimizes the detailing. It's my go-to. I'll drop a link in the description if you're interested in buying one, and I'll get a little commission if you do. But otherwise, I'm getting ahead of myself there. Okay, so I showed you how to cut in the mountain and work your way down. Sometimes you're going to have a big sheet of glass. Maybe you're on a ladder and you can barely reach to right there. So it's okay to just reach where you can And then you can just shift over to the other side, maybe re-wet it if you need to. And it's okay to finish from the other side. That works. The other thing, sometimes you might have a pane of glass that's a bit wider, and so it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of walking. And so it's okay just to go and walk down the line, come down, just make sure you're careful on the edges, walk all the way back down. Now just imagine this was 20 feet long. So that S curve motion can still work pretty well. It has its place. You're just more prone to make a mistake. Every time you turn, you have a chance of making a mistake. So just keep that in mind. If you have any questions going from straight pulls to cutting in the mountain, working your way down, or doing the S motion, let me know. The next step, which is really handy on doors, actually I should probably show you on this one. Now this one is tough to do. It's satisfying when you watch it, but whether you have a tall and narrow piece of glass like this, or maybe it's long and wide, it's nice when you can start at the bottom, go straight up, get to the corner. Now I got to get that drip, and then I can come straight down here. You got to be careful. Right here is where a line can develop oftentimes. When you're turning the corner here, or when you're coming back here and making those sharp turns, you can leave little lines there. So it takes a lot of finesse to get it right. And if you upgrade to a larger blade, it's even harder. So I'm going to go ahead and use this S1, but straight up, get to the corner, and straight down. Beautiful. Couple of seconds and you're done. So that's, I don't even know what that's called, but one motion up and one motion down. Hard to beat that when it comes to efficiency. Again, up here is where you usually leave a little faux pas. If you get to be really good at it, it saves you a lot of time. You can do a house that maybe would have taken another guy 2 hours. You can do it in an hour and a half, maybe even an hour. So the better you get at these little techniques, the faster you can go and you can become an elite squeegee slinger. So if you got any other questions, go ahead and drop it below in the comments. More than happy to give you feedback. A lot of times, guys, if you have questions with whatever mistakes you're making, I've found that the internet is actually a really good source. You get a lot of negative feedback, but if you turn that negative feedback into something that's actually practical, I post videos every day and I get all kinds of negative comments, but you just get some thick skin. It's not a big deal. A lot of the people who are saying things that aren't helpful, nobody likes them anyways. You do get some good advice though. I know there's been a few times where people have commented, sometimes it maybe doesn't apply to me, but it might help for somebody else. Other times it's actually very beneficial and helps me perfect my technique. Because one of the things when you're learning on your own, it's really easy to pick up bad habits. And if you don't have somebody watching over your shoulder, you start to adopt those bad habits and they become just a part of how you clean glass and you don't even realize it. But then somebody says, hey, you should be doing this instead. You can actually save yourself a lot of time and money by putting your neck out there on the line and risking getting some critical feedback. And sometimes that critical feedback is actually critical in a positive way. So take that criticism with a grain of salt, but put yourself out on the line and be willing to take a little bit of a risk. It'll help you in the long run. So got any other questions? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.